Have you ever felt that burning desire to make a difference in someone's life or to make a difference in the world around you, but something just keeps whispering to you, not yet? What if I told you that the very doubt that's holding you back is actually the reason that someone needs to hear from you right now? Like, think about this thought that may shift everything for you. Like, what if starting before you feel ready isn't just brave, but actually is the most generous thing that you could do for someone else? Now, if any of these things pique your interest or ring true to you, you're going to want to stick around and watch this video. Now, my name is Talbert. I'm the founder and author of the GIVER method. And today we're going to be tackling something that stops too many incredible people from creating the impact that they're meant to have, and that's waiting until they feel ready to share their gifts. Now, we're going to dive deep into that. And before we do, just want to cover a few things. Like, if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. Of course, after the video is done, you can check us out at thegivermethod.com, get details about the book being released next month, or any of the other things we do about speaking on stages or being on podcasts, things along those lines. Big thing, though, is you can sign up and get onto our newsletter. Between getting notifications, following us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or being a subscriber to this, we don't want you to miss out on any of the weekly conversations we have about unleashing your gifts and creating a more meaningful impact in people's lives. Now, I will talk a lot about this thing called the GIVER method. Now, in the GIVER method, we cover a lot of that on the other videos here on the channel. You can go check them out. There's all sorts of ones that specifically dive into that. But just a quick overview if you are new. So the GIVER method, it is a framework that is designed to help you to discover your unique gifts and superpowers and develop them in a way that you can go to the people that are in your sphere of influence and create more value for them and build deeper relationships with them. And the big thing is, it's not about perfection, but it's about the presence, and it's about presence and being willing to serve and to give in a way where you're not asking for anything in return. This allows you to step into who it is that you're meant to be. It allows you to create deeper, more meaningful relationships. And I found that when people do that, the universe has a way of paying them back. It doesn't necessarily happen every time, but I've seen it too many times where people develop these gifts and superpowers and they just start giving even if they're not ready. And as they do, they find how the universe will pay them back over time. So we're going to dive into that. Now, as I go through, I've got different ideas and principles and things we're going to cover. As I do, each one is going to have an action item with it. So I recommend you grab a piece of paper, open up a note, and jot down your thoughts while I give the principle or the idea and the action item, because although it's great that you're watching the video, the true change comes when you start to put those things into motion, into action. So I recommend grab that piece of paper, open up a note. Maybe you want to do it while I tell a quick story, and then we'll dive into it. So this whole idea of starting before you feel ready. And that's something that has rung true so many times throughout my life. And as I've worked with individuals, I see it ring true throughout their lives. I've seen many individuals that they start doing the thing it is that they maybe want to do, that desire, that passion, before they're ready. They sell the product before maybe it's ready to go, but they know it's going to create an impact. For me, I worked on transitioning from this idea of I'm in the business of working with small businesses and entrepreneurs and helping them identify their client journey and then how they build that into tools, that they utilize to deliver their client journey. And so my world has been in this systems and processes and technology. And I got this idea and this kind of calling to write the book, The GIVER Method, and to start coaching people on this idea of becoming a true giver. And that's a big change for me because I'm not in, at the time, I wasn't in the personal development space. Like, that's not my world. That's not who I am. But I felt this need and this draw to do it. I started researching, I started doing all this work, and I was like, I got to prepare so I can be ready to write this book. And I realized it's not going to be a right time. Lots of people say they're going to write a book. Lots of people say they're going to start a program. Lots of people say they're going to start recording videos for YouTube. Do they ever actually end up doing it? And so I just started by writing the first chapter, just so I could get my thoughts out and be like, is this real? Does this resonate with people? And what I found is as I shared it with people, even just like a rough first draft of the first chapter, I shared it with people just to get their ideas and say, hey, am I onto something, or am I crazy? And the feedback from everybody was so overwhelmingly positive that it gave me the motivation and the drive to continue to push forward, continue to research and learn, and to actually go and write the book and start recording the content and start working with individuals to help them discover their gifts and superpowers. So I can attest personally how much it will change your life if you find what your gifts and superpowers are and you just start giving even if you don't feel ready. So we're going to unlock these principles, these ideas of the things that you could do. They're going to shift this for you. And some of the things that maybe I did that I helped me along that way, and that I've seen others use that helped them along that way. So the first principle is this idea of the ready enough reality. And the truth is, like, about readiness, like, it's a feeling, like, not a fact. Readiness is often viewed as a destination or a point where we feel like we're completely prepared or qualified. But in reality, this state of readiness is, like, elusive and subjective. If you wait for the perfect moment when you feel ready, you might be waiting forever. And the truth is that readiness, it grows through action. It grows through you actually taking steps forward. Every expert, every leader started by stepping forward before they felt completely prepared. Their growth came from embracing discomfort, of stepping into the unknown and learning along the way. I love this idea of, people becoming experts, because I read a book recently and I feel like they teed it up perfectly where they said experts. Just being an expert doesn't mean that you're at the top of your field or that you're the number one best person in that thing. Being an expert is that you know something that I don't, or you have a skill that I don't, and you can teach me and you can show me, or you could deliver value to me. To me, you are an expert. So think about that as that idea of, like, just as long as you have that bit that you can share, you are an expert to someone. And so the action item here I'm going to say is to reflect on a time when you achieved something, maybe despite you when you're feeling prepared, like you felt underprepared, and write down the steps that you took maybe to overcome that feeling, and reflect and identify maybe some small actions that you could take now, even if you don't feel ready, to share something this week. What are the things that you're holding back on, and how can you find the ways to maybe just share something small this week? It may be small and insignificant, which is going to get us into our next principle, but that's the path forward. So the second principle is small steps, and using that as a strategy, because the journey of impact, it doesn't start, or it's not made up of grand gestures. Big impacts are often the result of really small and consistent actions that you take. These steps may seem really insignificant on their own, but over time, they really do accumulate into substantial progress. So small actions, they build momentum, they create a cycle of accomplishment, which makes you build up your confidence in what it is that you're doing and the powers and gifts that you're delivering to people. They also provide you with opportunities for course corrections, allowing you to maybe refine the approach without overwhelming pressure or having to make high stakes decisions. There's a big reason I started creating content online, and it was because it gave me a chance to take what I've known was in my brain and what I've typed out, and I know when I type it out I can make it say a certain thing, and start saying it. How do I say it in a way that it helps me to then coach better? It helps me to walk people through these processes better. And so for months and months and months, I've just been creating content with that idea of, how do I make it that I can make the course corrections now? So that as I continue to coach people, I can continue to refine the process and make it even better. And so your action item here is to choose maybe some sort of recurring daily activity where you can apply your unique skills. For example, if you excel at encouraging others, like, commit to offering a word of encouragement each and every day. Whatever that may be for you, document your actions and any feedback, and track how these small efforts maybe build some momentum, or maybe build some bigger momentum over whatever period of time that you're tracking them. Which leads to the third thing, which is all about this taking advantage of authenticity. Your power lies in your authenticity, especially when you're just getting started. Authenticity is such a powerful tool. When you show up as your true self, complete with your strengths, your struggles, and your imperfections, you're going to build much more genuine connections with people. People resonate with authenticity because it fosters trust and reliability. You don't have to put on that completely polished exterior. Just be yourself. And by embracing and sharing your authentic self, you create that safe space for others to do the same, leading to deeper, more meaningful interactions, which